We are ending the week on a high this week after taking home the Shared Services Team of the Year award last night at the REC Awards. How awesome on our second year birthday too. It's 12:30 in the afternoon and I'm Liz Jones, Managing Director at 𝗵 𝗙𝗶 and your host of 𝗵 𝗙𝗶 Live. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn and X, so don't forget to follow us. And on today's show, we're going to take a look at the stat of the week. We'll take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, as well as some opportunities in Australia and New Zealand. What's shaping the workforce in the UK and New Zealand? We're joined today by Principal Consultant and Chairman, Mark Smith, who's going to talk to us about the workforce trends and challenges facing the UK and New Zealand. And then we'll take a look at the social media poll results. But first, let's take a look at the stat of the week. Okay, LinkedIn reports 10% of 2024 hires in roles unseen in 2000. About 10% of job hires in 2024 hold titles that didn't exist in 2000, reflecting the rapid evolution of industries, especially in technology and digital fields. Technological advancements such as AI, big data and social media have driven the creation of roles like AI specialists, social media managers and cybersecurity analysts. Employees are increasingly seeking roles that offer remote or hybrid work options, emphasising the shift towards flexibility in the workplace. Organisations are focusing on reskilling existing staff to adapt to new requirements and technological demands. And the evolving job market showcases a blend of high-tech positions and roles focused on sustainability and diversity. That is it for the start of the week. Time to take a look at some hot jobs in London, and we are looking for a Part 2 architectural assistant paying £35,000 to £39,000. This is in southeast London. Responsibilities will include collaborating with senior architects on design concepts and plans, completing design and accessing statements and heritage reports. If you want to know more about this position, you can contact Hannah Scanlon. Her details appear on screen now. Don't forget to register with us for temporary work. We're always on the lookout for various temporary positions, anything from 1 day all the way up to 12 months. If you would like to know more about any of the temporary positions we're currently recruiting for, you can get in contact with us on the contact details on screen now. Looking for a move overseas to Australia or New Zealand? Some of our positions that we have is a course coordinator. This looks like a temporary position in Canberra, Australia, paying $45 to $55 per hour. A sales coordinator in Queensland, Australia, paying $70,000 to $78,000 per year. And a people and culture advisor in Auckland, New Zealand, paying $90,000 to $110,000 per year. If you want to know more about any of these roles, scan the barcode on screen now to contact us. We're joined now by Mark Smith. Hello, Mark. You're in London.
I am indeed, and I am feeling a little bit dusty at the moment. I had forgotten that recruitment consultants in the UK, they certainly know how to have a good time. And it was a great night last night at the REC Awards. So congratulations to anybody who won. I'm certainly proud of our award. But yes, it was a good night. They certainly know how to put on a party. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. I'm definitely feeling your pain also today. So tell me, New Zealand and the UK talent predictions for 2025.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So coming over to the UK and making that direct comparison to, say, New Zealand, where I'm based at the moment, out of Wellington, and how there are unique challenges for each market. The one consistent thing, I think, between the two jurisdictions is that there is a lot of uncertainty as to what will happen. So if you're a job seeker in either the UK or New Zealand right now, the market has been a little bit tepid over the last couple of years, and that's quite interesting for this cycle. And it's the same whether it's New Zealand or the UK. It's been a very slow ride down, and in Wellington right now, so the market turned in the middle of 23. And we're now seeing that, well, we're feeling like we're at the bottom of that market in New Zealand, and there's a couple of green shoots. But there's a lot of uncertainty too, so no one really knows. And every time I ask them, going out and visiting hiring managers as to when they feel that there will be a return to a more normal market or hiring conditions, most people say in the first half of 25. So around that March, April period. But there is absolutely no guarantee on that. The other thing that's quite interesting is this really, so that's all the similarities between the market. Oh, by the way, just before I leave that, is if you're looking to go to New Zealand, you're a UK citizen, you want to go on a working holiday. One thing, the working holiday visas will be relatively easy to get. What is more difficult is sponsorship. There's an inertia with the New Zealand visa process at the moment. It's taking a long period of time. That we were working with a body corporate manager who got the job in April, but didn't start until last week. So if so it's if you're looking at that, so don't think it's going to happen quickly. If you're looking for sponsorship, and it's very difficult to get that right now. The barriers going up in all different markets at the moment with immigration. But working holiday, there's certainly there. But the problem is there's not much work. Because the economy is not doing so well there. Having said that, there was a young Irish woman who came to see me, qualified accountant, who had a great pedigree. She entered the Wellington market, and it is pretty brutal, that market, but she was able to secure a position within 10 days. But there's another guy who's in facilities that I'm working with, and he's been looking for work now for nearly 2 months. So it's a very difficult market. Anyway, so the other thing that I wanted to really mention, and I'm conscious of time because I do tend to gibber on with these things.
We only have you in for a week, Mark, so.
I wanted to talk about there's a really hot topic at the moment. I thought that ship had sailed and that we wouldn't be talking about it, but it's flexibility and working from home. It is still hypersensitive. The New Zealand Prime Minister came out a month or two ago and said for all public servants, got to get back into the office. And that's caused a lot of issues because people are now very used to working from home and having that flexibility. And in contrast, here in the UK, there's the new employment bill that's, I think it was passed on day 99 of the current government, where it's making some changes to the right to ask for flexibility in the UK. So very different ways of approaching that. So in Australia, I know that the New South Wales Premier also about 3 or 4 months ago tried to get all of the public servants back in. So that there are certain law firms and chartered accounting firms and financial services institutions which have said and mandated a return to the office. Now here in the UK, we're in a situation where there's now a right to that flexibility. So it's really quite interesting to see those two different things. So yeah, interesting market. I think it's going to be uncertain really for 2025. I don't think it's going to be a boom time, and people should lower their expectations, I think, as to whether there's going to be a huge increases in number of vacancies. One last statistic for you on New Zealand. Wellington, from the September quarter 2023, the number of vacancies listed on, there's a major website 𝗁, which is the dominant player for job boards in New Zealand, from September 23 to September 24 quarter, the number of job ads listed was down something like 49% in New Zealand, in Wellington. So the market is very challenging. We're expecting it to return, but it's not going to return strong next year. And similarly for the UK, so there's been a steady decline, although I saw some numbers this morning. There's a slight tick up in business confidence and consumer confidence in the last few weeks here, sort of like post-budget drop, and then now it's returned a little bit, which is a good sign. But I don't think it says that we're going to return to the very heady short days. So we've got a comment here. Do you think the mandate is fair, or is hybrid the way forward? Fairness, I think that's a very, from myself personally, I think fairness is really comes from, it's a difficult, I'm not going to give my opinion on whether it's fair or not, is what I'm trying to say, but it's up to everybody else. But I also think that the hybrid working is definitely here to stay, and particularly in the UK, because with the UK, with the right for flexibility, that's not going to change. So that will continue, particularly when it's enshrined in legislation for that right to ask for flexibility. And we've got another question here by the looks.
This is from Hannah. So, Mark, do you think that employers are going to be able to secure the best talent if they do not offer hybrid working?
Well, that's a really interesting question as well, and I think that the answer to that is it depends in which sector that you're in. So often this, my personal view is that if you don't, the ability to retain and attract staff is a much more nuanced debate and discussion to have now. It's about the employer value proposition. It's about being able to articulate your purpose properly. It's not just like the 1990s when I first got into recruitment, where the only lever that you would pull would be the salary and wages lever. So you just pay people more. It's the only way you're going to be able to. It's a much more nuance there. And I think that hybrid working and flexibility falls in as part of that. But there's also, we've got to keep some perspective on this. Only 60% of the workforce, 60% of the workforce, I should say, doesn't have the opportunity for hybrid working anyway. They can't do it. And there are unforeseen and sometimes equity issues with hybrid working as well. So, I mean, if you were anything like me as a student, you're living in a house with 5 other people, there's zero chance of me, if it was me being able to work from home. Yeah. So I heard we're working on a position at the moment here in London where the organisation is going fully remote. So imagine you don't have if you're in a household that doesn't have the opportunity to work from home, those opportunities within those organisations that are fully remote are really not going to be available to you. So there are unforeseen circumstances, and really interesting topic. Not going to go away anytime soon. And one of the differences really between
a little bit of a balance as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
And Mark, so you're heading back to Wellington on Sunday. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you to, maybe discuss returning home or moving over there, how can they reach you?
Yeah, I would love to. Labour mobility is one of the things that I'm really keen on, and I think it's under utilised or not exploited enough, particularly between Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. So I'm very keen to talk to people and to try and mobilise talent across the borders, despite the fact that we've got some visa inertia at the moment. So if you are interested or you'd like to know more about the market, just get in touch with me. You can find me on all the socials, whether it be X or LinkedIn, or you can send, the brand we operate in New Zealand is Frog Recruitment. We're uniquely Kiwi, and my email address is marks@frogrecruitment.co.nz. But you can find me anywhere on the socials. So just drop me a note and we can go from there.
Excellent. Well, thank you. We'll also be posting those contact details in the comments. Thanks for joining, Mark. It's been great having you here.
No problem at all. Thanks. And now I just need to get myself a big pasta or something.
It's time to take a look at the social media poll results. So last week we had, when working from home, is it acceptable to nap during work hours? And 40% of you have said yes. I think that is crazy. 35% said no, and then 25% said only if you can make the hours up. If you want to get involved in this week's poll, do you intend to leave your job in the new year? This is a straight yes or no. That is it for P2P Live this week. Thank you for joining. We will see you next week, 12:30 on Friday.